from Anna Benson, who made headlines for attempted murder.
I did not point a gun at him. I did not swing a baton at him. I would never hurt that man. I love that man.
And Babe Ruth's wife, who earned the nickname Poison. In this video, we're looking at baseball players whose wives didn't just cause drama, they crossed the line completely. From wild arrests to shocking scandals, these women went way too far. Let's get into it. Anna Benson. Our first story features perhaps one of the most notorious baseball wives in the history of the sport, Anna Benson, former wife of New York Mets pitcher Chris Benson. With her stunning looks and outspoken personality, Anna quickly became a media sensation during her marriage to the MLB star. Anna's journey to becoming baseball's hottest wife began in an unexpected place. Before the glamour and fame, she worked as a dancer at a strip club in Atlanta, where she met Chris Benson in 1998. The couple married in 1999, beginning what would become one of baseball's most publicized relationships. Anna wasn't shy about leveraging her looks and provocative statements to gain attention, posing for FHM magazine in 2004 and earning the title of baseball's hottest wife. But Anna's past held darker chapters that would eventually surface in the media. In 1996, at age 19, she was charged with the murder of 18-year-old Michael Evans in her Tennessee apartment. The crime scene featured satanic anti-police graffiti, and Anna fled with her then-boyfriend Paul DeJong in a stolen vehicle. After a 5-month manhunt that landed her on America's Most Wanted, she was captured, but murder charges against her were eventually dropped. DeJong, however, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 21 years in prison. Anna's controversial public persona reached new heights during Chris's time with the New York Mets. In one particularly infamous incident, she appeared on The Howard Stern Show and declared that if Chris ever cheated on her, she would sleep with the entire Mets team, including the ball boys. This statement, which Anna later described as stupid humor, reportedly influenced the Mets' decision to trade Chris. She further shocked the baseball community by attending a Mets Christmas party dressed in a provocative Mrs. Claus outfit.
That was my infamous Mrs. Claus outfit. The Mets had made me very angry. They had gone off of rumors that I was going to pose for Playboy. So rather than come and ask me if that was the case, they instead decided to trade my husband, which I felt very judged. So, if this is how you guys want to play ball, then we're going to have a fun Christmas party. And we did. They said it was the best Christmas party they'd ever had.
But perhaps the most shocking chapter in Anna Benson's story came in July 2013, when she was arrested after breaking into Chris's home in Smyrna, Georgia, armed with a handgun, bulletproof vest, expandable baton, and a hatchet. According to police reports, she demanded $30,000 from her estranged husband, who managed to escape and call 911. In the call, Chris described Anna as screaming and out of control, and answered maybe when asked if he thought she would shoot him.
Former Major League Baseball pitcher Chris Benson was hiding in the basement of his Smyrna home when he called 911 this week.
My soon-to-be ex-wife has gotten into my house. She's brandishing a gun.
She has a gun?
Yes.
She was armed with a gun, a knife, a hatchet, and a baton.
In her defense, Anna claimed she was wearing the bulletproof vest because she was headed to a gun show and that the weapons were part of her interest in creating a ballistics company called Major League Ballistics. She insisted she never intended to harm Chris, telling Dr. Phil in a November 2013 interview.
I did not point a gun at him. I did not swing a baton at him. I would never hurt that man. I love that man.
Despite her explanations, Anna pleaded guilty on November 5, 2013, receiving 15 years probation and 3 months of inpatient psychiatric therapy. Her legal troubles continued in August 2016, when she was arrested for trespassing at a home in Mableton and stealing mail. While in jail, she missed a probation revocation hearing, but a judge signed a consent decree allowing her to apply to mental health court. In recent years, Anna appears to have reinvented herself as an entrepreneur. She founded By Benson in 2017, a Swedish brand known for sustainable home and garden products, including an award-winning Christmas tree stand and garden hose. This pivot toward creativity and business success marks a significant shift from her controversial past. Jessica Canseco. Jessica's story begins in a rather humble setting, working as a waitress at Hooters in Arlington, Texas. It was there that she met Jose Canseco, the larger-than-life MLB star known for his powerful home runs, and later his controversial admissions about steroid use in baseball. The couple married on August 27, 1996, and had one daughter, Josie Canseco, who has since pursued a successful modeling career. However, the marriage between Jessica and Jose was far from idyllic, and after just 3 years, the couple divorced in 1999. This relative relatively brief union would nonetheless provide Jessica with enough material to later write a tell-all book that would shock the baseball world and cement her place in the pantheon of controversial baseball wives. In 2005, Jessica published Juicy: Confessions of a Former Baseball Wife, a memoir that coincided with the release of Jose's own book, Juiced. The title, Juicy, was a playful nod to Jose's book, and it offered a candid look at their marriage and life in the spotlight. The book was excerpted in the September 2005 issue of Playboy, boosting its visibility, and Jessica promoted it on high-profile platforms like Good Morning America and Entertainment Tonight. The memoir painted a picture of a chaotic and dysfunctional relationship between Jessica and Jose. According to reviews, the book portrayed them as beautiful people, living with more money than they can count, and never really growing up, suggesting a lifestyle marked by excess and immaturity. Jessica didn't hold back on intimate details, describing her efforts to maintain Jose's fidelity, including undergoing cosmetic procedures like nose jobs and breast implants, and even involving other women in their relationship. Following her divorce from Jose, Jessica went on to marry plastic surgeon Dr. Garth Fisher in 2007 at his Bel Air mansion, though this marriage also ended in divorce. Her professional life took an interesting turn as she established herself as a paramedical and cosmetic tattoo specialist in Beverly Hills, California. Her business, which offers services like cosmetic tattooing, scar camouflage, and medical needling, has earned a strong reputation, boasting a 5.0 star rating on Yelp. But perhaps the most controversial chapter in Jessica's post-baseball wife life came in 2019, when Jose Canseco made explosive allegations about her on social media. He claimed on X, formerly Twitter, that Jessica was having an affair with Alex Rodriguez, another former MLB player, during Rodriguez's engagement to Jennifer Lopez. These claims echoed earlier accusations in Jose's 2008 book, Vindicated, and created a media frenzy. Jose went so far as to claim he had direct knowledge of the affair, offered to take a polygraph test to prove his statements, and called Rodriguez a piece of while apologizing to Lopez. The accusations were explosive enough to make headlines around the world, placing Jessica once again in an unwanted spotlight. Jessica swiftly denied these allegations in an X post, stating, "Those false accusations Jose is making are not true. I have known Alex for many years and haven't even seen him for over 5. I certainly did not sleep with him. I am friendly with both him and Jennifer." She further noted that the last time she saw Rodriguez, he was with his then partner, Tori Wilson, and she was accompanied by her boyfriend, emphasizing their platonic relationship. Adding weight to Jessica's denials, Layla Knight, Jose's former fiancée, told the Daily Mail that Jose's allegations were highly unlikely to be true. Neither Rodriguez nor Lopez publicly responded to the allegations, and no definitive evidence ever emerged to support Jose's claims, leaving the matter unresolved and controversial. Throughout her time in the public eye, Jessica has also appeared on several television shows, most notably Hollywood Exes on VH1, which featured women previously married to famous men. Claire Ruth. Born Clara May Merritt on September 11, 1900, in Athens, Georgia, Claire's journey to becoming Mrs. Babe Ruth was anything but conventional. At the young age of 15, she married her first husband, Frank Bishop Hodgson, a hotel keeper, and gave birth to their daughter, Julia, in 1918. After Frank's death in 1921, Claire moved to New York City in 1920 with Julia, seeking a career in show business. She found success as a model for Howard Chandler Christie and as a dancer in Broadway musicals, showcasing her ambition and adaptability. In 1922, she met Babe Ruth through actor Jim Barton at a Yankee game, beginning a relationship that would define much of her life. Their relationship developed over several years, complicated by Ruth's existing marriage to Helen Woodford and his Catholic faith. After Helen's death in a house fire in January 1929, Claire and Babe married on April 17, 1929. They formally adopted Dorothy Ruth, Babe's daughter, and Babe adopted Julia, forming a blended family. While this might sound like a touching story of second chances and new beginnings, Claire's reputation among Babe's peers and the wider baseball community was far from stellar. She quickly gained a reputation for her strict control over Babe's life, a dramatic shift from his previous freewheeling lifestyle that had made him a beloved figure on and off the field. Claire took firm control of Babe's finances, limiting his spending to $50 checks for pocket money, and oversaw his exercise and eating habits. According to their daughter, Julia Ruth Stevens, Babe appreciated Claire's management, trusting her to handle their household and social life life effectively. This discipline coincided with a highly successful period in Ruth's career, from 1926 to 1932, during which he averaged 49 home runs per season, batted .353, and led the Yankees to 4 league pennants and 3 World Series championships. However, Claire's influence was not universally welcomed. Some of Babe's friends resented her tight-fisted control, feeling that it restricted his freedom and altered his social dynamics. This resentment likely contributed to her nickname, Poison, which, while not explicitly documented in primary sources, seems to have emerged as a derogatory label used by Babe's peers who resented Claire's controlling influence. The tension surrounding Claire's role in Babe's life reached its peak with the infamous feud between Babe Ruth and his teammate Lou Gehrig, two of the New York Yankees' greatest stars. According to Claire herself, the conflict arose when Gehrig's mother remarked that the Ruths' adopted daughter Dorothy was not as well dressed as Claire's biological daughter Julia. When Babe learned of this comment, he was incensed and demanded that Gehrig not speak to him off the field, leading to a years-long estrangement that lasted until Gehrig's famous "luckiest man" speech in 1939. Claire later admitted to overreacting and acknowledged that the feud had multiple causes, including the contrasting personalities of Ruth, a flamboyant night owl, and Gehrig, a frugal and reserved individual. This incident likely contributed to negative perceptions of Claire among those who valued the Ruth-Gehrig partnership, reinforcing the Poison nickname as people saw her as toxic to important relationships in Babe's life. It's essential to view the criticism of Claire Ruth in the context of 1930s gender norms. During this period, women were rarely expected to engage in high-stakes financial negotiations or to exert significant control over their husbands' professional decisions, particularly in male-dominated fields like professional sports. Claire's proactive role in managing Babe's finances, including curbing his spending and negotiating deals, was unusual for the time and may have been seen as intrusive by contemporaries. Patricia Dean. Patricia married Dizzy Dean on June 15, 1931, during the early years of his meteoric rise in Major League Baseball. Dizzy was a central figure in the Cardinals' Gas House Gang era, known for his colorful personality, quotable antics, and exceptional pitching talent. As his wife, Patricia quickly established herself as much more than just a supportive spouse on the sidelines. From the beginning of their marriage, Patricia took on multiple roles in Dizzy's life, acting as his business manager, banker, and bookkeeper. She controlled his finances, curbed his extravagant spending habits, and even selected his wardrobe, functioning almost as a maternal figure in some respects. While these efforts helped stabilize Dizzy's personal life, they also began to extend into his professional dealings in ways that raised eyebrows throughout the baseball world. The most notable instance of criticism against Patricia came during Dizzy's contract negotiations with the Cardinals in 1937. Before the season, Dizzy demanded a $50,000 contract, an enormous sum for the era, and threatened to retire if his demands were not met. New York Daily News columnist Jack Miley attributed this hardline stance not to Dizzy himself, but to Patricia, writing that she, not Dizzy, was the real problem behind the difficult negotiations. Miley's column included a particularly cutting anecdote that illustrated how baseball insiders viewed Patricia's influence. According to the story, when Dizzy couldn't find his pants in the clubhouse, someone quipped, "Go ask your wife. She is the one who wears them," implying Patricia's dominance in their relationship. This portrayal painted her as overly controlling, a narrative that resonated with the era's media and public, leading to widespread criticism for her involvement. Patricia's own account of her role in negotiations, given in a 1974 interview with Mississippi Public Broadcasting, confirmed that she was indeed heavily involved in Dizzy's business affairs. She recounted a specific incident from 1934.
When Dizzy, who had pitched in 51 of 154 games that season and earned $22,500,
the highest salary for a National League pitcher at the time, was holding out for a raise. During a late-night meeting with Cardinals owner Sam Braden, Clarence Lloyd, and Frankie Frisch, Patricia intervened decisively. As she recounted in her 1974 interview, she abruptly ended the discussion by declaring, "Diz had told you what he wants. That's what he's going to get. Good night all." This assertive approach, while effective in securing Dizzy's demands, likely contributed to the perception that she was overstepping traditional gender boundaries, reinforcing the criticism she faced. The tension surrounding Patricia's involvement came to a head in an incident known as the Battle of Tampa. Following Miley's critical column about Patricia's influence, Dizzy, allegedly prompted by Patricia, confronted Miley at Tampa's Terrace Hotel, leading to a physical altercation that made headlines. This confrontation underscored the level of animosity generated by Patricia's perceived interference in baseball matters, with her influence seen as provocative enough to spark physical violence. June O'Dea. June O'Dea, born Eileen Frances Schwartz on January 27, 1909 in New York City, had already achieved considerable success on Broadway before she ever met her future husband. She rose to prominence as the leading lady in the Pulitzer Prize-winning musical Of Thee I Sing, a satirical production that became a cultural phenomenon. June's beauty and talent made her a celebrated figure in New York's entertainment scene during the early 1930s. In 1932, June met Lefty Gomez, a charismatic and talented pitcher for the New York Yankees, who was so captivated by her performances in Of Thee I Sing that he attended the show repeatedly. Lefty humorously claimed he attended so frequently that he could perform the entire production himself. The couple married on February 14, 1933, in New York City, blending the glamorous worlds of baseball and Broadway. Their union was initially celebrated as a perfect match between two of New York's brightest stars. June became close friends with Dorothy Arnold, the first wife of Yankees legend Joe DiMaggio, and the two women were known for their lively social outings in Manhattan, often accompanied by their husbands, except on nights before Lefty's pitching starts. In 1936, at Lefty's urging, June made a significant sacrifice for their marriage. She retired from her successful acting career to focus on being a full-time wife and mother. The couple had two children, Venona, born in 1934, and Gary, born in 1936. Despite this attempt at domestic stability, their marriage was described as stormy and on-again, off-again, with underlying tensions that would soon become very public. By 1937, the Gomez marriage was in serious trouble. The crisis reached a dramatic peak in December of that year, when June learned through tabloid reports that Lefty had filed for divorce in Mexico, citing incompatibility. This revelation came as a shock to June, who discovered her husband's intentions not through private conversation but through sensationalized newspaper coverage. As a devout Catholic, June firmly opposed divorce on religious grounds. Rather than agreeing to end the marriage, she consented only to a formal separation, citing abandonment and cruel and inhuman treatment by Lefty. The separation proceedings, which dragged on for several months, were closely followed by the media, turning their private marital struggles into public entertainment. The tabloid coverage of their marital discord was extensive and often sensationalized. The media portrayed the situation as a dramatic saga between a beloved baseball star and his Broadway actress wife, with June cast as the wronged woman, fighting to save her marriage against her husband's wishes. This public scrutiny placed June in an uncomfortable position as her personal life became fodder for newspapers across the country. That brings us to the end of this story. For more interesting videos like this, click on the cards on your screen.